Hey guys, Razorblade Mango here, and after a few days of playing through the Star Wars Battlefront beta multiple times, alone, with friends, with strangers, I wanted to make a video about my general impressions of it, because it's something that I have been curious about ever since they announced it, and I was actually really hoping that they would announce some kind of beta for it, because as many of you know, I have a lot of extreme skepticism when it comes to this game. Ever since they did their big full reveal back in April, that just fizzled and took a lot of wind out of the sails, just deflated so much of the hype. I swear, that's still one of the worst game reveals I have ever seen in my life. I thought it was so painfully disappointing. As a lover of this series, that reveal still stings even after all these months. And I'd heard a lot of mixed things about the game from people without actually getting my hands on it and actually getting to play it. And now that I've played it extensively, and I want to come and tell you guys what I think of it. And I'm going to break it down like this. So first of all, I'll talk about just general things that could apply to every mode. And then I'll break down the three modes and maps that are in the game. So, my general impressions. And I went into this beta expecting the worst. I was scared that it would just break my heart again, that it would just be another goddamn situation where I would just be playing it and I would just slowly feel my heart sink to the bottom of my stomach just because of how I don't know, how bad or how mediocre it was. I wasn't even expecting it to be, I don't know, like unplayable or unbearable or just horrible. But even if it turned out to be mediocre, I still would have been very sad and very disappointed. And to my delightful surprise, I actually liked it. I don't think it's too shabby. Well, it's not really convincing me to get it day one, because I still have concerns about the whole... I still have concerns about it that I'll get into in a bit. But from what I was expecting, I liked this quite a bit. I liked the beta. Now, obviously, this, I don't even really consider this a beta, because this is coming out a little over a month before the game is going to ship. There's not a lot they can do. There's not a lot of big stuff they can do to fix. And there's some big fucking problems with some of the stuff in this. So, this is more like a demo. Let's just call it for what it is, people. It's a demo. It's a demo that is being put to you on PlayStation Store. But unlike a lot of like some of the other betas I've played so far this year, that I just kind of was like, meh. Especially a lot of the multiplayer-centric stuff. Because I played the Black Ops 3 beta, and I played a little bit of the Rainbow Six Siege beta. And they were fine. I thought they were just okay. But I just got bored of them after a while. Once I was done with a few matches, I kind of just went, meh. I mean, I returned eventually when it came to Black Ops 3, because I just was like, well, people are playing it, friends of mine, I might as well just join in for a little bit while I can. Rainbow Six Siege, I didn't give a fuck about that. I played that for maybe, like, a few matches, and I was just like, no, I don't care, I'm done, I don't want to keep playing anymore. It's not terrible, but it just was... It doesn't have a lot of replayability to it, which is what I was very concerned about with Rainbow Six Siege, especially with it not having a campaign, which is very disappointing. And I'm still sore about them canceling Patriots. Rainbow Six Patriots, which would have been fantastic if it had been in the hands of a ballsier publisher. So, back to Star Wars. Let's talk about general thoughts about it. First of all, this is an audiovisual masterpiece. These guys, DICE, they went above and beyond trying to bring you the most authentic looking and sounding Star Wars experience. I mean, you can have your opinion about the gameplay, and I've believe me, I've read a lot of opinions about the gameplay and about the replayability it could potentially have. But you cannot deny the audio-visual design of this game is superb. It is some of the best I have ever seen, especially for a property that is well-loved and well-established. And I'm not even just talking about the music, which of course the music's going to be fantastic. I'm talking about just the little details in the environment. I'm talking about the way smoke just blows off of things when they're shot, or the way a fucking speeder will just fly over you, and you'll get that sound that plays when it's just flying over you. The sound of the AT-ATs just stomping past you. I mean, it is so fucking cool. And even little things, just the way the snow will show your footprints, or the way on the volcanic planet, how there's like little bug creatures that come out from the bottom of the ground while you're walking across it, and you'll see just bugs going across. It's so cool. It is amazing. And that's the only, I mean, in this day and age, it feels like we get a lot of games that just look incredible and are just trying to be just photorealistic and look amazing. And that's actually one of my initial concerns about Battlefront, is that I felt like they were pulling an Order 1886, where they kind of were like, well, we're going to focus so much on the presentation that we're going to forget about the gameplay. But you cannot deny that the presentation, holy shit, wow, it's fantastic. It especially for somebody, and I will admit this, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, I really like the series, and I've watched, it's been with me since I was a kid. But I think, like a lot of people, I kind of got out of it around, like, during and I'm one of the few that actually doesn't mind the prequels all that much. Yeah, fuck you. I do really like The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith, and I like half of Attack of the Clones, or maybe a third of it, because that romance bullshit is just the worst. But I'm not like a huge Star Wars fan, but even because I had like such a strong connection to it when I was a kid, even I got like those like chills on like the hairs on the back of my neck stood up when I was on Hoth for the first time, and I was just running through, and I could see just this big epic spectacle being waged around me, and it did not look like a lot of it feels like just so much care and love and attention to detail just went into it. Just little things that really stand out because of how amazing they're implemented into the environment. Like I said, like the bugs, like the snow prints. I mean, it's gorgeous. I could go on all day about how amazing this game looks. But looks and sounds. Don't forget about the sounds, because the sounds are also really incredible. And as I've said, like, they got the sounds, the ship's right, and the AT-AT's right, and the blasters right, but also just the way the environment sounds, where it's, I mean, you can hear the wind blowing on Hoth, you can hear the volcanic bubbles start to pop and burst around you on Solast. I mean, I don't know how much time was spent. And I know one of the trailers are like, we went to the actual filming locations and scouted for all these different noises, and I was like, and playing this beta, I believe them 100%. I believe them that they went out and they did their fucking research. They put so much effort into the design and the presentation that it's there's no other word for it. It's beautiful. It really is. And I like the guns. I like how the guns work in this, because you can't really have, ammo counters for this. You can't, and I like there's no iron sights, which that would have bugged the shit out of me. So, but I like the way the guns feel. They have that kinetic energy to them that I think is essential for any kind of gun feedback in games. It actually feels powerful in your hand as you're shooting it, or both hands in the case of the blaster rifle, the heavy blaster rifle. So, and I like the system where, like, there's a cooldown mechanism for the guns, like they do in, like, a lot of comparisons have been made to Gears of War, which is very, very apt. Like, and even if there's, like, a cooldown system, if you time it right and press, in my case, because I'm playing on the PS4, if you press square, it will actually stop the cooldown process, and it will just instantly go back to, okay, now you can shoot again. So there's that kind of element of like a QTE-esque thing in there, which I like. I like that it gives you that moment of like, okay, if you're paying attention and you time it right, you can actually like get your ammo back quicker than you expected and keep shooting, because it helps. It really does help to get the upper hand on your opponent in this, because it can be pretty fast and pretty chaotic at times. Some things I didn't like about this just overall stuff. The spawn points are god awful. The spawn points on both Drop Zone and Walker Assault, they need to be fixed, because they are the most random drop zone, not drop zones, they're the most random spawn points, and it gets so bad because the spawn points can get so, like, it's so weird. Sometimes it'll feel like the wrong spawn at the worst possible moment, like in the moment when you need to be closer to the action. It feels like and of course you do have a partner spawn where if like your partner is out in the middle of the fight, you can just spawn next to him or her and you'll be right there. But if you're alone and you're playing and you don't want to really go with anybody, then you're gonna be walking a lot, because it's gonna spawn you all the way the fuck back, and you're gonna have to walk all the way across this big ass map to get to the battle, and then you're gonna fucking die, and then you're gonna have to go back again and keep walking. I mean, it gets bad. It's even worse for the power-ups, because when you get to play as a walker, an ATST especially, the ATSTs, when they spawn you, they start all the way in the back. I mean, they all the way in the back to where, like, you just have to, and it's a slow walking ATST where it's like, pew, doo, 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 and you have to walk this entire distance across, especially on Hoth. You have to walk this entire distance across Hoth just to get to the action, and it is annoying. It's terrible. And the hero characters get it worse, because when you become a hero character, you want to be like, oh yeah, I'm right there in the action, let's kick some ass. But the hero characters get spawned all the way back in the environment too. So you gotta, and you're on a time limit. It's not like the ATSTs where the only amount of time left is, if until you get blown up. But hero characters have time limits. So what sucks, especially if you get spawned all the way back, you're gonna have to walk that entire, or jump or run that entire distance, and that eats away at your precious time that you have with your hero. Like everybody in the fucking game wants to be like Luke and Darth and Darth Vader, but it's like they don't give you enough time with it, especially with these terrible respawn points. So that I didn't like. That they need to fix, because the respawn points need to be closer. They need to be at better locations that don't have people camping there so they can kill you right off the bat, which is what I've been experiencing in this beta at times. Especially on the Hoth level. Yeah, it's kind of what I have to say about the general impressions. Now, regarding the specific modes, let's start with survival. So, and I've said this before, this survival mode is not going to replace a good single-player campaign. It absolutely will not. And now that I've played it, I can definitely tell you, it won't. And what makes me sad is that because the game looks so gorgeous, because it runs at, I think it's like 900p on the PS4, which is a shame they can't get it up to full 1080p. It's 900p, 60 frames per second, but it looks great from that little cutscene they showed at the beginning before Survival. That makes me want a Battlefront campaign. That makes me want to see like an actual written campaign with like maybe not recognizable characters that you play as, but just characters that something like what they did for Star Wars Battlefront 2, where you get to play as Vader's own personal guard, the 501st, and you hear it as like an autobiography from one of the clone troopers, and it's really fucking cool. Yeah, it's not the greatest campaign in the world, but it's something. They tried, and it was good for what it was. I enjoyed it very much. And it was interesting to see the what happens between episodes 3 and 4. And I thought that was a really good, fun, well-planned campaign. But it makes me mad that we're not going to get that in this Battlefront. And for a lot of people, especially people that don't really like multiplayer stuff, it's a shame that these missions aren't going to be more substantial, which I'm going to tell you, they're not from what I've seen. And this survival mode is basically just, it's horde mode, but it's a little too early to give like a full fair impression of it, because unlike Drop Zone and Walker Assault, they're only giving you a portion of what the full survival mode is going to be like, because there's like 15 waves or so, and they're only giving you 6 in the beta. So I gotta judge it based on these 6 modes. I mean, six waves. And it's fine. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's the main draw of this one is that their marketing is like it's the only mode that you get to play local split screen on, which I think is ridiculous, because I think there should be an instant action mode where you and your friend can just co-op, go into any of the maps, any of the environments, and just go against bots, and it should be that way. And I highly doubt a mode like that, a substantial mode like that, is going to be in the final game, but I hope they add it one of these days, and for free, or they add it into Star Wars Battlefront 2, because you know it's what they're gonna fucking do, because it's EA, and they have the Star Wars license, unfortunately. So, and they don't allow local split screen in this beta. It's only online split screen. Not online split screen. It's only online co-op, and it's fine. I mean, I guess it's horde mode really isn't my thing, but it's okay. The one thing I didn't really like about the survival mode is the hit damage, because it literally takes forever to down one of these fuckers. They kind of just shrug off your shots. Like, instead of, oh my god, I'm getting shot, it's like a minor inconvenience to them until they just fall over and die. There was one point where I shot this one, and it wasn't even like a sniper or an ATST or a scout trooper. It was just a generic stormtrooper, and I was shooting this fucking guy in the face like 3 times, and he wouldn't go down. It was just a minor bother to him, rather than, oh my god, I'm getting shot in the face, I better move or I'm fucking dead. It was just, I didn't like the hit damage. They need to fix that. They need to make that more, maybe not more realistic, but more. They need like less impervious to death, like these stormtroopers are weirdly in this mode. So that's survival. Drop Zone is my favorite out of all anything in the beta so far. It's the mode I've spent the most time with, and it's really fucking fun. I've played this mode with friends, by myself, and I've had a blast every time. Even when I'm getting my ass kicked, I have so much fun playing this mode. Like I said before, the guns feel really good. Solus, which is considered now officially the Lucasfilm acceptance of the way this planet looks, which, cool on DICE for them. It's a great planet, great environment, And what I like about the 8 versus 8 is that you can actually it's pretty easy for you and your team to get together and like coordinate how you're going to protect these pods. And a drop zone is just, you're in the environment 8 versus 8 and pods will drop out of the sky, and it's your job to go over and capture the pod and defend it from the opposing team until a certain point when the pod is yours, and you don't have to worry about that. But the biggest problem with this mode, though, and believe me, it's a really fun mode, and I enjoy it very much, is the terrain navigation is not that great. I mean, they're like, because of like the little rocks, it's very easy to get caught in an environment, and I cannot stand those volcanic bubbles that will pop up. Like, literally, I spawned in one of them. Again, fix the fucking spawn points. So I literally spawned in one of these volcanic bubbles, and I was stuck in there for a little bit because the fucking jump button sucks so much at that point, and I couldn't get over it, and I died. So I spawned, I died, and I was pretty irritated by that. And the environment, like the running really isn't all that great across the planet because it needs to be smoother in terrain navigation, especially on that planet. On Hoth, it's fine, but on Solus, it needs to be improved. And this last bit applies to everything. I fucking hate the melee attack in this. I hate it. And I know Star Wars is not known for melee combat aside from the lightsabers, but holy crap is the melee attack, like the typical melee attack is awful. I fucking hated it. Get rid of it or improve it. Don't have it at all. I mean, you can have close quarters combat, but it needs to be a hell of a lot better than this, guys, because it's really bad. And even if you do manage to get a hit on your opponent and they go down, there's no satisfying feedback from that in your controller. There's no vibration. There's no like boom. Like there's no oomph to it. It's just feels like you're just hitting air, and it's terrible. I hate the melee so much. Now, let's talk about Walker Assault, the mode that everybody has been talking about, and as DICE loves to say, is the centerpiece mode of the entire game. Now, is this mode any good? Well, of course, you're going to hear mixed things about it, and I don't blame them, but I'll break it down like this. If you're an Imperial, this mode is wonderful. You'll, like I said before, you'll get chills in this mode, just running across, reliving your Star Wars fantasies if you're an Imperial guy, just shooting rebels and just going in the TIE Fighter, which I actually don't mind the flying mechanics in this. I thought, like, from all the shit that I've heard about it, I thought it would be just awful. But and it does take a little bit to get used to, but once I actually did, I liked it, so I found it pretty easy to start like doing dogfights with modes in the sky, which makes me wish there were space battles. But in the first moment I got to play as Darth Vader. Oh man, that was so cool. Once I finally got to the battle, man, I just went in and was like, yeah, and just cut rebels down, force choke a bunch of them through my lightsaber. So I mean, it was awesome. And I like the power-up system in this. I thought I was going to hate it because I usually don't like the idea of power-ups. But I like that even if you suck, like me, I'm not that good at this, but if you suck, you'll actually get the opportunity to try out all the different things in the modes, like the more powerful weapons, the ships, the heroes, other stuff. But I liked that. I liked that you could just run around and find these little icons, and you would get the thing. There's no kill streaks required. There's no special objectives required to get them. You just run around, find the icon. It's yours if you can survive not getting blown up during that initial activation sequence. Now, if you're playing as a rebel, unless you have a really good team, and I mean a really dead on coordinated team, this mode is the most frustrating thing ever. It is annoying how horribly imbalanced this mode is from that side of the fight. Granted, I have seen the Rebels win a few times, but that's only because the Imperial team was so terrible that like really like the Rebels would have to be equally incompetent for the Imperials to win at this point. Because I was playing on the Imperial side, and we were just awful. We kept getting killed. Nobody knew what to do. I mean, it was embarrassing. But it's if you have a really good Imperial team, you cannot get an even match out of this, because while there's so much firepower at your disposal for the Imperials, I mean, you got like the ATSTs, you got the AT-ATs, you got the TIE Fighters, you got Darth Vader, you got a bunch of shit. All the Rebels really have are the X-Wings, the A-Wings, and Luke. And that's it. That's all they've got. There's no like there's no version, and I know it's not true to life from the Battle of Hoth, but because they're making this so much about, it's the Star Wars fantasy, there's so much live out your Star Wars fantasies, I don't see why there can't be like an extra edge to help the Rebels win in that mode. And I've seen some terrible excuses for how imbalanced it is. There's actually multiple posts I've read that are like, well, it's the Battle of Hoth and the Rebels lose, so I mean it makes sense for the Rebels to lose most of the time. No, fuck that. No asshole that play as the Rebels is gonna go into this mode being like, yay, I'm the Rebel, I'm gonna lose, I'm so happy. Cut that out. Don't use that fucking argument. It's so stupid. And it's really difficult to maintain control of these uplinks required to deactivate the shield around the AT-ATs, and for you to actually get good attacks on it, because your guns aren't going to do shit against it. What you need people to concentrate all firepower on those AT-ATs. And if you have a bad team that's just doing their own thing, you're not going to even get like halfway of its health by the time it reaches the end, and you fucking lose. So, and I know they're AT-ATs, but oh my god, they take forever to destroy. And there's like 2 of them in every match. So even if you take down one, it's like, oh, well shit, I still gotta take care of the other one. But yeah, from the Rebels side, this mode needs serious rebalancing. And there's no fucking way. I mean, it might be a little bit different when the final game comes out, but there's no way in hell it's going to be anything substantial. I can guarantee you guys that. So, overall, despite my problems with it, and believe me, there are quite a few, this beta turned out to be one of the biggest surprises of the year. I mean, like I said, I booted this thing up, dreading it. I was going into it thinking, oh god, here we go. This is gonna break gonna break the heart of my 12-year-old self. But I'm glad. And I'm glad that I ate my words. I'm glad that I'm eating my words right now. I was wrong, and I couldn't be happier about it. And I'm glad I was caught off guard by how fun it is. But that begs the question of, will I buy it on launch day? My answer is still no. Because given DICE's past history, I want to see if this game is actually functional for the first few weeks. Because I have a feeling the servers are going to be a disaster for the first week or so. So I'm not going to buy it right off the bat. Besides, I'll have Fallout 4 by then, and then the next week I've got the Bloodborne expansion. Those two I'm looking very much more looking forward to those than Battlefront. Another thing that concerns me is if there's enough compelling content to back up the exclusions. Like, there's no prequel maps, there's no campaign mode, there's no space battles, there's no instant action, there's no galactic conquest, etc. I mean, it looks great, sounds beautiful. It's on an audio visual level, it's a masterpiece right off the bat. But you guys know me, I care more about replayability and variety. I mean, I don't want this to be the next Evolve or Titanfall, where people just play it for a little bit and then there's not enough content to back it up and it's like, whatever, it just fizzles out. But I have a gut feeling that it could be, if there's not enough. I mean, people are going to buy it. I mean, it's fucking Star Wars Battlefront. People are already, like, lining up to buy this fucking thing, and it's not even a month until the game comes out. I hear people that don't even like this kind of style of gameplay. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to buy it anyway just because it's Star Wars. I mean, more power to them, but I care a lot about the content, and while I like what I've played so far, and I think it's fun, despite my problems, there's still that nagging feeling of skepticism that still hasn't fully gone away. Yes, my opinion of the game has improved overall because I've actually finally gotten hands-on time with it, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But the final game still has me worried, and that's why I'm still, even after this beta, I'm still not going to buy it day one. I'm still not going to go out and pre-order it. But I'll give them this. I think the fact that I'm actually considering getting it, later on down the road, goes to show how much DICE have impressed me. Because if you guys remember, I was like, fuck this. I'm expecting the worst. I'm gonna get my fucking heart broken. I'm not looking forward to this anymore. The fact that I'm actually going, you know what? Maybe I'll buy it. That's a hell of a lot more than I expected to say at the end of this week. So, hey, bravo to DICE, bravo to EA. You've actually made me grow a lot less skeptical. I'm still pretty skeptical about it, but not as much as I was before. So, tip my hat to you guys. You did all right. You did pretty good. Alrighty. So thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the Star Wars Battlefront beta. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Just let me know. And this week, I should have a bubbly wobbly nostalgia by tomorrow. I still haven't decided what game I'm going to cover because there's a lot to choose from. I'm leaning towards one, but we'll see. I'm going to have to actually boot up my PS2 to play it again, because I want to. Because unlike Blinks the Time Sweeper, this is a game I actually own, so I want to actually boot it up and see if it's as great as I remember. So, and then I got talk about Hearts of Stone expansion on Tuesday. Maybe Minecraft story mode. I don't usually like to talk about Telltale stuff just because of spoilers, but I think I've wanted to make a video about Minecraft story mode ever since they announced it. So, yeah, it makes sense. And then next week, got the Tales from the Borderlands finale and Life is Strange finale. Oh man, these are going to be some good 2 weeks that are coming up. Really excited for the stuff coming out, especially this Tuesday. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.